You get a copy of the recording from me and the slides that Shannon is using for the PowerPoints. Any handouts we deliver at any of the cohort meetings, you will also get a copy of if you attend or not. So that way the information is still getting to you. Okay, so you can always watch for those things as well. All right. Shannon, you're our valiant leader here.
All right, hi everyone, welcome to Upperclassmen Cohort. I know a couple of you here, and we'll do introductions here in just a second, so we know everybody here. Next, please.
Do you see the orange one?
Yes, that's me. Okay, this week, my name is Shannon Kerr. I am the Health Studies, Pre-Health Pathways, Public Health Academic Advisor. I work primarily with sophomores and juniors and freshmen. I am new to Boise State. I've been here since November 30th of last year, but I'm not new to higher education. I've been in higher ed for over 10 years, but mostly at the community college level. CSI in Twin Falls, if anyone knows where that is. I know you do. And don't you, Rose? Yeah, you, right? And College of Eastern Idaho in Idaho Falls. This is just a couple things about me. My hobbies and interests include my dogs. Go back. I wasn't done talking. Thank you. So my dogs, Star Wars. Anyone a Star Wars fan in here? Okay, we're gonna be besties. Pop culture villains, cartoons, music, and this is my bucket list item. I want you guys to all start thinking about your bucket lists. We'll talk about that in a second. Okay, next.
My name is Erin Colburn. I'm the pre-health advising coordinator for the College of Health Science here at Boise State University. I have been at Boise State University in this role for 14 years. And so Shannon is my partner in crime when it comes to everything having to do with any of our pre-health pathways. I have a family of 3 kids and a husband and a dog and a whole bunch of other stuff. And we do lots of things together, including camping, crafting, football, reading, you name it. I work predominantly with the students who are applying to medical schools, so junior or any pre-health pathway, to be honest. I'm kind of the lead for the pre-health team and work closely with Ian Taylor and Sydney Goodwin, who are our peer advisors that work with freshmen. Just so y'all know, Ian's awesome and he's graduating. So, you know, when you're thinking about leadership roles, you know, if you become friends with me and Shannon, no offense, Ian, we're going to keep you as long as we can. We may not graduate you. Maybe that's what we'll do, is we'll just not do an academic adjustment for you so that you cannot graduate. No, I don't think you'll appreciate that. My bucket list is to buy a sailboat and sail in my retirement. All right.
So before we go over the ground rules, I kind of want to go around the room and through our Zoom and let everybody introduce themselves. So as you know, I'm Shannon. And this guy right here.
Hi, everybody. I'm Ian, senior public health major, peer advisor for the freshmen, pre-med, pre-dental, pre-veterinary students. So I probably worked with a few of you guys before.
All right, who are you, sir?
All right, my name is Mark, junior here in basic kinesiology on pre-med pathway. I guess I'll just put on my bucket list on the road. We just got it.
Awesome.
All right, I'm Gracie. I am a sophomore studying chemistry, and I'm also I'm Megan. I'm also a sophomore. I'm a health studies major on the pre-med track. Yeah, I want to study medical school for radiology. I'm Molly. I'm a sophomore as well, health studies major, and then I'm also on the pre-med track.
Hi, my name is Noah. I'm a junior. I'm a health studies major, and I'm on the pre-med track.
I need to talk to you later, sir. Yeah, don't be afraid.
Hi, my name is Rose. I'm a freshman from junior study, and I'm a biology major.
What's your book pathway on? Awesome.
I'm Levi. I'm a sophomore health studies major.
and I'm on the pre-PH staff.
Awesome.
My name is Melissa. I'm a sophomore, a bio major in pre-med pathway.
Awesome.
I'm Jack. I'm a kinesiology major, a junior, and I always go to the bachelor PA, so I figured out.
That we're working on.
Hi, I'm Cassie. I'm a biology major, junior, and pre-med.
Where are you from, Cassie?
I'm from France.
Awesome.
Hi, I'm Sydney. I'm a junior, studies with a science emphasis, and I'm pre-naturopathic medicine, and I'm one of the peer advisors for the PA, so I work with freshman who are PA, PT, OT.
We have Devin. So where are you from? What are you interested in studying here at Boise State University in your major?
I am from Eastern Idaho, a place called Rigby. I am a junior here, and I am a biology major, and I am pre-medicine.
Aslan.
I'm from Nampa, Idaho. A sophomore, second year. I'm also biology pre-med major.
Grace-Ann.
My name's Grace Ann. I'm a junior. I'm in health sciences major. And my dad was in the Air Force while I was growing up, so we went all over.
Awesome. Reese.
Hi, I'm Reese. I'm from Tacoma, Washington. I'm studying psychology and Spanish, and I am pre-physician assistant.
Mariah.
Hi, my name is Mariah. I am from here in Boise, and I'm a junior. And then my major is health studies, and I'm on the pre-med pathway.
Chandler.
So Chandler's from Pennsylvania. He doesn't have a mic. He's a
Okay.
senior.
Totally cool. You could totally chat. That works too. All right.
Awesome.
Zara.
I'm from Boise. I'm a bio major, a senior, and I'm doing pre-med.
All right. There are your introductions on both the in-person and the Zoom side for right now. And
Ground rule.
No.
Okay. So there's a couple things that we just got to go over real quick. This is a safe place. What we talk about here doesn't need to be talked about everywhere, but it's also not a place we're in competition with each other. So we don't talk about GPA with each other. If you want to talk about your GPA, talk to your academic advisor. We don't talk about test results. So I know you guys are going to be taking the MCAT or the DAT or the GRE. We don't talk about those scores either because we don't want anybody to feel bad if they didn't do as well as you. So no bragging, stuff like that. It's just, like I said, it's a safe spot and we want everyone to feel welcome. Everyone gets a chance to talk. Everyone's thoughts are important. And your advisors.
she's pointing at me. She's pointing at me because I'm the one that's the victim of, I'm the one that's the cause of this all the time.
We will not monopolize the conversation. What we want to hear from you more than you want to hear. All right. So
before you do that, before you go on to the next slide, Shannon, can we tell them what cohort is?
Go for it.
So the whole purpose behind cohort, and some of you may have attended as a freshman, the freshman cohort, is this is a place for you to get to know some students like yourself who are pursuing pre-health pathway professions. They are open to all pathways. I'm so sorry. That's the mom voice that you didn't hear, but you saw the face. So cohort is meant to give you there's three main goals with cohort. Number one, we're trying to provide you with as much information as possible to answer your questions about, well, what do we need to do to be successful in going to some of these professional programs? Second to that, we are asking that you asked us last year for community. You felt like there was, the students we talked to said, gosh, it'd be really nice to know who the other students are that are interested in the same fields that I am. And so there will always be a community building piece in the process. And then the last piece of this is that we do want to make sure that we answer your questions and your concerns. So keep those things in mind as we're moving forward.
Okay, awesome. All right, so we're gonna start out by doing just kind of a little icebreaker that's not an icebreaker. Bucket list. Everyone has a bucket list, right? Do all of you have a bucket list? I see no one. Nobody? Right, so we're gonna break you up into just groups of 3 or 4. Groups of 3 or 4, and then we're just gonna talk about what's on your bucket list, and then talk to each other, and then we'll come back and share a little bit. So
So like, we're gonna give you about a minute to think about what might be on your bucket list.
yeah,
And think big, like think, gosh, it could be as simple as I want to go to medical school. That's on my bucket list. Or I want to go to PT school, or I want to go to a country or something like that. So think for about a minute. And then while you're doing that, I'm going to put these folks in breakouts. And why don't you get your group in the big room identified?
so. With that, on your place. And then, yeah, yes. You know what? Okay. And then really pull the other script. And then you. Whoa. That work? Okay. You two look over together, sir. I'm ready. You're ready. Yeah.
All right, so Zoom room folks, I'm going to put you into your breakout rooms. Give each other each a minute and talk about your bucket list and think on why we might be doing this or asking this question.
All right.
All right.
Did you guys learn some things about each other? Does anyone want to share? Anybody? Anyone on Zoom want to share what you learned about the people in your breakout room?
They want to share their bucket list?
I'll share mine.
Great.
I want to go to Rome one day, just because of how 2,000-year-old buildings are so cool, right? And then the rest of our group too, we're also mentioning other cool countries like South America and Europe, other places in Europe.
Nice. How about the room?
Yeah, how many of you want to travel? Was that on your bucket list? Everybody. Nice.
I like Ian. I think Ian.
Like one of those wingsuit things, they jump really high and go between rocks. Kind of like a flying
That's a
squirrel.
glider suit.
Yeah.
Flying squirrel suit. Yeah. How about anybody else in the room want to share what else is on your bucket list besides travel? Oh, hell yeah.
What was it? We couldn't hear it.
Go to the Super Bowl someday.
Go to the Super Bowl someday. That would be a good one.
Yeah. But if the Cowboys are going to be there, or the 49ers. No.
All right, Shannon.
Thank you so much. All right. Okay. So here we go. Let's talk about bucket lists. This is my current bucket list. It represents the things that I want in my life right now, and those things have changed over time. My experiences have led me to want these things. I want to drink whiskey in Scotland. Some of you might not be old enough for that one, but I want to own a lot of dogs. I want to get my master's degree. I want to serve U.S. veterans. I want to see the Dropkick Murphys. Does anyone know who the Dropkick Murphys are? Oh my gosh, I'm so old. Aaron knows who they are. And I want to go to San Francisco and watch a Giants game with my dad, at least one more time before he dies. But you gotta ask yourself, why do you want these things? Why are these things important? Where are you right now? What do you want for your life and why? Knowing what you want is not necessarily the hard part. If you're here and listening to me give this presentation, you probably want to be a physician. Most of you, I think, want to go into med or a PA, PT, a dentist, or one of the other many health professional pathways that could be chosen from. And these are great things to want, but you have to ask yourself, why? Why do you want these things? So when I was in my first year of college, I wanted to be a physician, just like you guys. Why? Because, and I know many of you have said this, I wanted to help people. Anyone want to be a doctor because they want to help people? No. But here's a catch about that phrase, I want to help people. There are 1,000,001 ways to help people. Here at academic advisors, me and Erin, we help people. We love what we do, and we don't have to deal with blood or guts or the bodily fluids. Not always, sometimes. But so do you want to be an academic advisor like us? Again, we're helping people. Or do you want to go to medical school or dental school or veterinary school? But again, you have to check why. Why do you want to do those things? And there has to be more reasons than I want to help people again. And your mom told you you'd be a great doctor. You know, she probably did. And she's probably right. But life is bigger than what your mom wants for you. My mom wanted me, my mom told me I would be a great kindergarten teacher. But here I am living in Idaho without kids. Where I ended up as the world's best dog mom, working at the greatest university and helping students like you make more money than I will ever make. But I'm going to help you become doctors, chiropractors, speech language pathologists, any of these things. But figuring out why is a process. And no one is asking you to spat out the correct answers right now. Everyone is different. And every one of us has different reasons why. And everyone has a different timeline. So what are some of your reasons why? Someone tell me, why do you want to be a doctor besides I want to help people?
I went to the Philippines on like a relief trip, and so it was kind of like heartbreaking to see that there aren't enough medical professionals over there to like help the children, especially like people who live in poverty and stuff like that. So that kind of like opened my eyes to like the way that we live and like also to the other things. So like in the end, it came to like the world doesn't have enough doctors to like support our population.
Yeah, that's a very good reason. What do you want to do in this
World. From the Zoom world, do you guys have any
hang on,
why?
Cassie, sassy, hang on.
So I want to be an orthodontist
Mhm.
because I really like doing stuff like manual stuff. And I wanted to be a pediatric doctor. And then I was like, actually, like orthodontist is something that represents me best because yeah, I love like chops and stuff like that. So I think like it's a hard question, but
Yeah, but it's one that takes time. to
Yeah.
look for reasons why. Okay, what about in the Zoom world?
Basically, I want to create change. The LGBT community has really been underserved, and I haven't had great experiences with doctors. And I think I could provide a really unique perspective and help people.
I agree with that. I think that's really cool. Thank you for sharing.
Thank you.
Anybody else in the Zoom room?
I really think it's interesting just how the body works and all the processes that go into disease and healthiness. And I just really think it's interesting. So I think PI would be a good route, or maybe research down the road or something.
Very cool.
Very
Thank you
cool.
for sharing.
Thank you. Okay, so what I'm talking about right now is called self-authorship. We can't talk. So in other words, you are the one that's in charge. It's your life, and you get to choose what you do when it's not your mom or your academic advisors.
We're not your bosses.
Oh.
You are your bosses.
Yes. Okay, next slide, please. Thank you. Okay, so self-authorship is, to paraphrase, your ability to know and understand what your beliefs are. Own your identity and define your social relations. Know what you value and decide what path you're going to take. Again, like Aaron just said, you're the boss, not your parents, not your advisors, not your teachers, not your friends. You're the ones who choose what you do and what is on your bucket list. And we're just here to support you. So I have a terrible memory, so I have to have notes. Okay. If you don't know what's on your bucket list right now or your exact path, don't worry. Every single one of us has had to do this or still has to go on that same journey. You're not alone, and know that the people are not born with self-authorship, nor will that state of being happen overnight. You will not wake up tomorrow morning after hearing this awesome presentation and say, I know my path. It doesn't happen that fast, and it changes and grows as you change and grow. It's what you wanted when you graduated high school, the same thing that you want now. So what is going on? What's going to get you there? Like, oh shit, shoot. Erase that out of the video, please.
No, I left mine in, just so y'all know, on the application. I said bullshit like 3 times. It's okay. You're all adults, right? Like, you know that word is a real thing, and yeah.
Yes. So, okay, so here's what's happening. It's called development. The act or process of growing or causing something to grow or become larger and more advanced. Makes sense, right? I know. So when I was 20, I thought I was completely developed. I knew everything. And I was certainly had all the right answers. And I was also sure I wanted to be a PA, or not a PA, I'm sorry, an MD. MD and live in New York City with I'm going to be an actress someday, best friend. I was 21 years ago. She's still trying to be an actress. So maybe New York's not the best place. I don't know. Or it could be she just, all right. Don't tell her I said that if you ever meet her. So I've been in higher education for over 10 years. And no matter what position I've been in, students always want to know what boxes to check. Am I doing this right? How many A's do I need to be successful? What does my GPA need to be to get me there? And in my last 8 months at Boise State, like I said, I've only been here since November, I've had more students wanting to know what boxes to check. You all are go-getters and you are all challenge takers. You're all smart and wonderful and amazing, but asking how many boxes you need to check to get there or how many hours you need to observe this position is not what's going to be getting you into those schools. Oh, are you letting your kids touch the buttons?
No, I'm not trying to read you. You're not telling me to flip the screen. You need to go back.
Come on, brain vibes, buddy. Brain vibes.
You go back.
No, I'm on experiences.
Is that where you need to be?
Yeah, I'm right where I need to be. So what is going to get you there? And while I'm sure you are still thinking grades, science classes, shadowing, and all those help for sure. That is not what I'm talking about. What I'm talking about experiences. Your experiences are going to be what gets you there. With every experience, you need to ask yourself, what did you learn from that? And why is it important? Okay, but you need to start where you're at. Where you were as a freshman, like we talked about just a minute ago, is not the same place you are now. Oh, I just missed it. And where you are as a senior is definitely not the same place you are as a freshman. The experience once may have been fun and interesting, but what is like now? What is it like now? How have you changed or grown? Ask yourself, what did you learn? What did you notice? And how did that make you feel right now? But again, change. Thank you. But again, start where you're at. Not where you wish you were at, not where you hope you are, not where you think you should be, but where you are right now. And then ask yourself, anyone guess what you need to ask yourself? Huh? No?
Why?
Why? And here I go again with why. It's really a trend, guys. Why did you like that? Why do you not like that? Why medical? What is so great about that field? So we are often, and I know a couple of you have seen Erin. Yeah. Who's seen Erin in here before? That's what I thought too. All right. So, and she's really big about this, but we often ask, like every day, I have to ask ourselves and talk to our students about, next please. So like every day we're talking about reflection. Next please. If I just throw my arm up in the air, does that work? No. No, put it back down. Now go back to it.
You want to go back?
Yes.
Sorry. She's being judgy, folks.
Simply
I'm
put,
doing my best.
love you. So reflection. Simply put, reflection is finding the true meaning and value in something. Value is a great thing. And whether good or bad, everything has value. Did you know that something you don't like has value? Or at least the reasons you don't like it do. And perhaps it may even have more value than something that you do like, because you know it's something that you don't want to do. Have you guys, it's easier to figure out what you don't want to do than to figure out what you do like to do. And I don't know about you, but I would rather know what and why I don't like something, because I don't want to spend the rest of my life doing it. I think that sounds terrible. If your parents tell you you should be a physician, but you hate the medical field, but you do it anyway, that'd be like the worst thing in the world. I mean, the money part would be nice, but. Okay. So right now we're closing up on application season, and that what that has meant for us is reviewing personal statements and reviewing application experiences. So this is my first rodeo with personal statements, and although I think I read about 50 now, I can still remember the very, very first one I read. I thought it was beautiful. The student talked about the precision and care behind hunting. Are there any hunters in here? No one hunts? Really? Used to. But you know what hunting is, right? Okay. We talked about the precision and care behind hunting, and how it was similar to the precision and care needed for a physician to assist a patient. It was so descriptive. My teammate, who is amazing and wonderful and been doing this half of her damn life. Close? Oh, yeah. She told me what was wrong with this, and they showed me the problems. Yes, his words were beautiful and eloquent, but all he was doing was describing what a hunter did and what a physician does. And this is a problem we see with most personal statements. We have to go through, students write 30, 40 different copies because they can't quite get it. Everyone is great at descriptions, but reflection is hard and it takes work. Okay, so I think next, okay. So I think we're going to do another activity, just a short one, on reflection. So those same groups you were in, or get back to those people. Do you want to join their group? Okay.
So
Great.
what we're going to do with this activity is we're asking that you think about something you did last week. It doesn't even have to be something medically related. And it does, I mean, what we're trying to do is get you to think outside the box. Think about an experience you've had last week. It could be something fun. It could be work. It could be something you learned in class. It could be anything. It could be volunteerism, leadership, research, experience, you name it. Pick that thing, and in your head, in your mind, I want you to think about it. Think about what you saw, think about what it was, and then think about why we should even care about it, why you remember it. Why does it stick in your mind that it came up in your head? And then what you might do with that information. So we're going to give you about 1 minute to do that. And then I'm going to put the Zoom folks back in the same breakout rooms. And you get 1 minute to share your experience and reflect about that experience and talk to someone else about it. So 1 minute to think. And I'm going to reset the rooms.
We like you guys to talk to each other. That's how you make friends.
All right, I'm gonna put you guys in your rooms. And then you get 3 or so minutes.
3 or so minutes. Start
All right. Bringing it back, bringing it back. Does anybody want to share from the main room, from the in-person, some experience they had?
Go ahead.
I don't know if you guys can hear me, but my name is Alyssa, and last week for me was the first week that I didn't have physical therapy since like April. So I've been doing it for several months, and it was because I hurt my ankle, but like I literally sat there and I almost cried because I was so overjoyed with the fact that I had made so much progress, and I literally sat there and reflected and went, okay, here's where I was, 6 months ago, and here's where I am now, and I was able to see the growth in myself since then, and that was just a really cool experience to be able to see that progress and not really think about it until that end goal.
That is awesome. Awesome. That is way cool.
How about from the Zoom room? Does anybody want to share? Grace Ann, Mariah, Zara, Chandler, you can chat it too.
I applied to the Idaho Humane Society last week to volunteer. They don't have any openings until January, but I'm really excited. I think that's going to be a lot of fun.
Are you going to take home all the puppies?
I really shouldn't. It's going to be very tempting, but I really shouldn't. Probably because it's not allowed where I live, but
Yeah.
I think I
Well,
got
I'll
it.
give you my number. You let me know. What I need to do.
Deal.
I already have 2 dogs. I don't need you, but I do. I need more. I do. I need more. My boyfriend's like, you don't need more. I don't need you, is what I know. Honey.
Okay,
Okay.
all right, sorry. I
So-
need to move to the next slide.
Next slide. Okay. So thank you for sharing. I was going to share an experience that I had last semester. So we were doing cohort meetings, and a couple of you have been there, and Cassie might even have been at this one. She's been too. We broke our students out into groups and asked them to talk about their experience. I was in a group with a senior who's getting ready to apply and a sophomore. And we're talking about experiences, stuff like that. And he's talking about how he has this experience as, what's that called? I just forgot what they're called. The people in the emergency room.
Scribe.
Brad, told you, bad memory. When you're 41, well, so he's talking about being a scribe and then doing all these things in the emergency room and talking about all those experiences he's having with patients. And then she told me, I don't have any experiences. Well, wait a second. We met the week before at freshman cohort. And she's telling me, and she told me about how she went to work at a suicide hotline, but they don't call, they text. And she's like, I'm like, well, but didn't we talk last week? And she's like, yeah. I'm like, you still doing the suicide hotline? She's like, yeah, but that's not experience. I'm like, it is, you're talking to people, right? And she's like, yeah. And then all of a sudden she starts crying. She's like, well, I did talk to this guy who had recently told his family that he was a homosexual, and it wasn't well received. And he was on edge, and she talked him down from that ledge. And I was like, well, why would you not think that's experience? She's like, well, because it's not medically related. And it is, but it was dealing with people, and that's what you'll all be doing in the fields that you're going into. Is no experience is too big or too small. The key to a meaningful reflection is about that experience. For example, when you go on a trip, you take pictures so you can remember those experiences, and you can remember why it was cool or bad, and remember how it felt. Use those pictures and thoughts for those reflections. You do those same things with your experiences. I have to see if she's at the same place. No, go back.
Failing as the driver.
So professional schools don't want you to hand them a list of your experiences and not have you value the beauty of your own perspective. Many students are going to check the boxes and list the hours, and that's not what they're looking for. They want real people. Her talking to somebody about suicide and helping that person in that situation, that's a real experience. And she's connecting with humans. And they want people to know themselves, and they want you to understand what you're getting into. They're looking for students who are not just knowledgeable about the field they are applying for, but want to know where they're headed and why. Next. Thank you. Okay, so we use various tools to help our students be reflective. Next. Get the boss around this much is really cool. Yeah, that's right. So some of the things that we do. So Erin and I do a thing called soundboarding all the time. And does anyone know what soundboarding is?
Y'all just did it.
Yeah, you did. So it's bouncing your ideas off of each other. We go back and forth with each other. Oh, does this sound good? I don't like that. But when you said that, that was amazing. And that was a great idea. And you students can do this with each other. Why do you like that? Bounce your thoughts off your academic advisors. We want to know. Bounce your ideas off your parents. They want to know. Bounce your ideas off your friends. They want to know. It's about the peer-to-peer experiences and the peer-to-mentor experiences. Next.
It's lagging, but I promise I'm pushing it.
So another thing is that we do is journaling. So we give our students journals and we ask them to spend a couple of minutes a day, just a couple, not a big commitment, writing in them. If you want a journal, come see us in our office. We'll give you one free and you can start journaling. And if you want a special journal with like animals or something on it, just let me know the animal and I'll go get it for you. So if it's a dog. So write about your experiences, write about what you did. If you're shadowing or observing, write about what you saw, write about how you felt, write about what you liked and what you didn't like, write about people, write about the people you met. This exercise is huge in reflection. And I don't know about you, but again, I'm 41 and I can't remember what I had for breakfast, let alone what I did last week or last year or 2 years ago. I cannot remember how it made me feel. If you write it down, it'll help refresh your memory. And when it comes time to sharing your experiences and filling out those applications, you'll have those experiences right there. Reflection is huge and it makes things mean something. But again, it takes practice and you got this. You just have to keep asking yourself, why? Big question. And if you sit down with Erin, she'll do it back and forth until you give her the answer she wants. And you keep going and keep trying. You do awesome things, do fun things. Your experiences can be fun. Do scary things, do things right and do things wrong. Allow these experiences to happen. Take leaps of faith, accept the setbacks, and have amazing adventures. And going back to the beginning, what is on your bucket list? How are you going to make those things happen? It's up to you, but I'm sure you guys are going to keep at it and you're going to get it. And you guys are going to be amazing. Next. It's all you. Erin.
What?
There we go.
All right. So the message we're trying to give you tonight is we're trying to set the stage for the rest of this year. We want you to understand that we as academic advisors understand the importance of you gaining experience, but we want you to take a step back. Stop looking at it from the lens of my professional school says I have to have this many hours of volunteer, patient exposure, physician shadowing experience. Because let's be honest, right now, it's pretty hard to get some of those things, right? Some of those things are being denied you because we have a pandemic and we're trying to keep everybody safe. Ultimately, the real goal behind any professional school's request or expectation that you gain experience is so that you'll gain skills, so that you'll learn how to be how to interact socially, how to communicate, how to lead others and educate others, how to be responsible for yourself and others, critical thinking skills, problem solving skills. These are all things they want you to learn about yourself. One of the most important people I ever met in my first part of my career as an academic advisor in this field was a physician at the University of Utah who said to me, he said, I can summarize the application to medical school into 3 words. Know thyself. In other words, if you go through the paces of having these experiences, not so much concerned about some magical number of doing them, but doing them because you believe in them and because they're fun and because you really are passionate about getting into those environments and learning about yourself, you're going to have a much easier time being successful in the application process. So yes, we do think that you should gain some research experience if you can. We have a lot of really great programs in the vertical integrated projects. If you search that on the Boise State website, you could see several different projects that are running right now, and you can even be involved in creating new ones. There are research opportunities in labs like biology and chemistry. They don't have to be limited to those though. You know, we have students like Ian, who's at the Center for Health Policy, or students in psychology doing research. Think about a hypothetical question that you need to ask. Think about leadership skills. How could you gain opportunity to mentor others? Could you be a Sunday school teacher or a coach? Could you be a peer advisor, a learning assistant, a Bronco ambassador, someone who really encourages others to come to Boise State University? Could you do some community service? Could you go in your own neighborhood and deliver food and groceries? Could you work for the Garden City Clinic as a volunteer or the Friendship Clinic? Could you go and volunteer here on campus at the food pantry? There are so many different great things you can do, and they aren't always going to be medically related. And to be completely honest, they shouldn't be. You are not only going to be a physician. You may be a mother or a father. You may be someone who has passion with animals. Grace Ann, you mentioned that you want to volunteer at the Humane Society. Interestingly enough, three of the students that are off and done with their medical career, they're now medical physicians, volunteered at the Humane Society. That was something they were passionate about. Last year, I had a student who was really interested in baking. That was her hobby. She liked to do it for fun. There's actually an organization that volunteers their time to bake cakes for the homeless. So think outside the box. Don't just be limited to only the things that you think you have to do. Do the things you're passionate about. Interact with the people that you do it with, and you might discover there could be physicians hiding out in those things. Those opportunities to have a conversation, be like, oh, your best friend's brother's sister is a physician. How can I meet them? I'm not kidding. Last week, my son finished out his football season and for Optimus football. And I was just having a conversation with the parents. And you know what I asked him? What do you do for a living? Oh, you're a physician? Well, we need to talk. I need to find some placement for my students. You can do those things too. Tell me, thinking outside the box, share with me, those who are in the classroom and those who are in the Zoom room, what are some ways that you think you could gain some experience hearing what I said?
Anybody?
Mariah?
I'm getting a job at St. Luke's next week as a CNA, so I'll be working in a setting.
What was that one?
He's going to be a CNA at St. Luke's.
Very cool. That's an excellent opportunity. Anybody else? Anyone from the Zoom room?
Is that Levi?
I'm currently a learning assistant for Bio 227.
Oh, we need to talk. He's a learning assistant for Bio 227.
A learning assistant for Bio 227. Anybody a member of a student organization or club?
Without one?
I'm in some music ensembles and leadership positions there, like principal chairs.
Yeah. Aslan?
Okay, yeah, I was gonna say I'm a section leader for Blue Thunder, and there's a lot of kind of leadership, and a lot of people think kind of music and maybe pre-med and biology are kind of opposite circles, but there's a lot of places where they intersect.
That.
Mhm.
Mariah?
Something that I really love is like coffee, and I'm a barista. And so I've recently become a barista trainer. So I train other baristas that start. So, I mean,
That job has got to be about communication, right? You have to listen to your orders and then you have to give their correct information, right? And if you want to be a really great barista, you really kind of have the regular people who come in, right? The regulars,
yeah.
when they order the same thing and you pay attention to some of those things, that keys up to that whole component. Does anybody have a hobby that they think is weird?
I collect houseplants.
That's not weird.
What? You watch houseplants?
Collect houseplants.
Collect houseplants. So you have to have a little bit of a green thumb though, right? Oh, look at all those beautiful plants. You have to have a green thumb, right? So it sounds like you like to garden even though they're in the house, right? Did you ever think that maybe you could go to like a community urban garden and volunteer your time there?
That's a good idea.
Right? So I'm going to share a story with you. I have a student who felt very frustrated. He said, "Gosh, I have no volunteer time and I have no leadership skills. And I don't think I can apply to medical school because of it." And I said, "Well, tell me what you like to do for fun." And he kind of went, "I don't want to tell you. I'm kind of embarrassed." And I was like, "No, come on, tell me what you do for fun." And he's like, "I'm a gamer. And I also like those card games." And I go, "You mean like Magic and Yu-Gi-Oh and like those things and Pokemon?" And he goes, "Yeah." I go, "No judging. I'm a mom. I have a 10-year-old boy. I get it." And I said, so do you play often?" And he said, "Actually, I'm a referee for tournaments every weekend." I go, "Do you get paid for that?" "No." "Do you have to instruct the kids when they misbehave and break the rules?" "Yeah." "No leadership experience, no volunteerism." "Nope, I think you do." And he was like, "I can't put that on my medical school application." I go, "Why wouldn't you? It's a part of who you are. You're trying to tell them who you are." So when we say no experience is too great or too small, we aren't pulling your leg. All right. So we only have about 3 minutes. So we'll do this in the big group, Shannon. So we want to build a community. So let's have a discussion. Tell Shannon and I what your big questions are. What are some things that you are so concerned about, whether it be related to your professional school field or anything? And then Ian, could you write them down?
Yeah.
So shout them out. Big questions.
This isn't a really big question, but I have probably 100 to 150 volunteer hours at the hospital in Idaho Falls. But I got those whenever I was still in high school. I was like a sophomore in high school. Is that like too long ago? Do you think I need more patient interaction hours and everything like that?
Well, let me ask you this. When you did it, how did you feel about it?
It was awesome.
Did you like it?
Yeah.
Did it get you all excited? If you could be doing it right now, would you want to be doing it?
Yeah.
Then the answer is yes. Do you see the difference? It's not, "Oh, I don't think you have enough hours," or, "Oh, I think they're too old." Those are things that informed your decision to want to be in medicine, but you like them. So we can help you find more hours. We can help you go find more. And yes, even with COVID, we can find stuff. I send emails to you all the time. And if you can read through it, I know you know how to read. I know you hate reading because you're reading textbooks and you're like, oh, I don't want to read anymore. I get that. But read my emails. Go through, click on stuff. There's tons of opportunities for you. And maybe it's not this year that you're doing patient exposure, but maybe you're volunteering and you interact with someone who does have access to patient exposure that gains you that experience. So the answer is yes, you should, because you want to, but not because you might have to or it's too old. Again, we're not counting hours, we're counting the value, right? The value of the experience. Who else? Big questions. That was a great question, Grace.
Cassie said something.
So for me, it's shadowing too. I mean, I did like an internship like back in high school at my orthodontist, but then since then I haven't had like a chance to actually like shadow because I don't have a car to do it.
Makes it tough.
Can you repeat the question?
So
For some
she
reason.
did shadowing in high school,
Yeah.
but she hasn't done anything since, and it's hard for her to do it now because she doesn't have a car, right?
Yeah.
So there's virtual shadowing.
Ooh, Sydney can show you what that is.
Virtual shadowing is really, really cool. The thing with their virtual shadowing right now is be careful. Make sure you don't have to pay for it because you shouldn't pay for an experience, right? Second to that, if you know a physician, interview them 20 minutes. Say, hey, can I steal 20 minutes of your time? I just have some questions. Ask them the questions you'd ask while you were shadowing. Ask them, where do they go to medical school? Or where do they go to PT school? Or where do they go to PA school or dental school? Ask them why they like their profession or why they don't like it. You know, I was working with a student the other day that was having some concerns about veterinarian medicine. And it was because she'd had a conversation with a veterinarian and she was kind of scared. She's like, well, gosh, I don't know if that's who I am. Why do you think we ask you to shadow? Why do you think medical schools or PA schools or anything would expect you to go and observe? What's the goal?
They want to know if it's really something you're meant to do. And not just
So they want you to know that you want you to have researched the field and make sure it's right for you. Well, you don't have to just do shadowing. And they know this is going on with COVID. They know. Medical schools know this. Now, what if you sat on your hands and said, woe is me, I can't get any hours. I don't know what to do. Yeah, they're probably going to frown at you and be like, well, what the heck? If you said, gosh, you know, I couldn't shadow because of COVID, but I did this instead. That's going to come across so much better. It's going to come across that you made an attempt to do something. Instead of shadowing, go out and volunteer, give of your time. And it might open a door for shadowing down the road. Okay, other questions? I want to be mindful of everybody's time. You can put them in the chat. I think I need to check the chat. Okay, all right. So if you think of something that you would like us to provide you during cohort, email Shannon. Shannon, I'm going to put your email in the chat.
You know my email.
Okay, and you can ask, all right? After this is over and the recording goes into the cloud, I will send it out to everybody and I'll send the slides. And the next cohort meeting will be different. We will be covering a different topic and there'll be more time for you all to chit chat as well. All right, well, I think we're done for tonight. I'm going to go ahead and turn the recording off. I will stay in the Zoom room